What's up? Monday Night Live on Twisted Cat Outdoors. Perfect timing. Liz just got home. She was at an eye doctor. Audio sound good. I'm kind of getting all my bearings back. Obviously, I've got the wrong lower banner that you can see from this weekend. What's up, Timmy? Everybody have a good weekend. Pull up a couple things. Timmy, were you out this weekend fishing at all? I think we're going to have Josh Roth on a little bit tonight also. Send him a deal. Waiting for warmer weekends. I'll tell you what, if you got to watch Liz and I this weekend, it looked decent out there, probably besides the wind, but it was brutal. And Saturday, we went out pre-fishing, and it was terrible. Wind, cold, brutal. Getting bait was brutal too. Oh, I love you, Marcus. What's up, Victor?
Oh my goodness.
What? What's it coming from? Oh my gosh, that had to hurt. Jeez.
That was my foot.
What happened? What did I do wrong?
Are we talking about the 1v1 already?
Oh, you were snacking like crazy just yesterday on the 1v1.
I'm always snacking.
Golly.
Hello.
I cannot type tonight. Pull up the Twisted Cat graph. I posted that one. Update.
Well, you made it. Did you post it?
Yeah, right here. All right, so we'll go ahead and share.
Thanks,
Image.
I'm still recovering from fishing yesterday. It was just.
It's brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
Put that off. Make that big. So that's where we're looking at right now.
The champ is in the house, Victor. Oh, nice.
So here's how the 1v1 bracket is going so far. We've had two events, Monty Bond and Brian in Texas, Liz and Alex in Pool 19 in Illinois on the Mississippi River. And we are going to confirm tomorrow that our next one next Saturday, it looks like we're going to do Joe Crawford and Joe Ludke in Pekin, Illinois. If things play out right, we'll confirm it tomorrow. So that'll be 3 that we've knocked out pretty quick. Waiting to hear back from Donald and Eddie, Kirk and Joe. Obviously, Kevin Parks, Craig Norris, Devin Little, JT, and then Jackson Mitchell and Chris Wallace. We're looking to do, I think, on Kentucky Lake, April 19th. Sunday, April 19th.
Oh, Sunday.
After demo days.
Thanks, Craig.
So, a couple things that's so much fun about these 1v1s is it's like they're the adrenaline because you're live, everything's going on. You know what I mean? You got to communicate with the crowd, with the people that are watching, answering questions. People get to see what you're doing.
It's on you.
Yeah. What was pretty cool too is how many people reached out to us that were watching it at home, watching it on their TVs. Pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Purdue.
Next time you train someone up on your computer work so you can really concentrate. That's fun. So this weekend, here's the plan. Obviously, if you got to watch it this past weekend, we'll just call it, our boat with its setup. And the way that our boat is set up, it's got the Starlink Roam. The difference is you got the Starlink Minis, which we have 2 of them right now. And then we have the Starlink Roam. The Roam is just more powerful. It's, 4 times the size of a Mini. So I had the Roam on a big giant Pelican box. It's going to an inverter. It's going to 2 lithium batteries, 2 ProGuide batteries, 225 amp hours in parallel. So 2 225 amp hour batteries, and then going to an inverter that's running my laptop, my DSLR, and a couple other things, the router and all that stuff. And it's working pretty good. So this Saturday, my plan is to go to Pekin Friday, meet up with Crawford and Ludke, set their boats up. They're going to do some pre-fishing Friday. Again, we're going to confirm this tomorrow morning, but it's pretty much a go. And like I said, Friday night, I'm going to go set their boats up. I think we've getting it pretty close to dialed in. We'll do a quick run through that Friday night, and then Saturday morning they'll go, I'll see them off Saturday morning. We'll get them live and going. They'll be in the background where only I can see what's going on and make sure everything is perfect. And then from 7 to 8's mystery hour. You got the heat on?
Uh-huh.
Dang. And then 8 to 2. Let me confirm that's what Joe was saying. Yeah, so start fishing mystery hour from 8 to 9 and 9 to 2.
Just like ours.
Like what we did.
But they're stopping at 2. Because we did 8 to 9, 9 to 3. Because at last minute, you wanted an extra hour.
I just thought it'd be fun to go. So, that's a good amount of time. And we're also playing with like how long the batteries are lasting. So like I said, there's things that we're learning, but this will be the first one. So Monty and Brian both had Starlink Minis, and we were literally driving back from Louisiana, hosting the live on the way. So this weekend it should I'm going to be in my truck, probably in a parking lot somewhere, and I'll have the Starlink Roam on the truck, and I'll kind of make the truck my home office. So
that'd be probably easier for you.
I did get it whooped.
Yes, right.
Purdue, everybody's making fun of my new glasses, dude. So I've seen that you got a pair of those also. So I've been wearing them and got some good footage. And then Nate Moore, the picture of our 1v1 head-to-head.
That was a little.
Now, it was a little exaggerated on the AI. We'll share that.
Because I don't think I ever looked that mean Right?
No.
Right?
No, you never looked at me. So that's the AI. Now they're not that big. I mean, they are goofy,
You got that right.
but they are awesome.
It'd be really cool to see what you get out of them, the footage and stuff.
Yeah. So we'll have everything dialed in for this weekend. So again, look for how that's going to work on Saturday with Joe Ludke and Joe Crawford.
That's like intimidating. I have to work Saturday, so I'm gonna be on the live seeing who I gotta go against. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, again, just I think to kind of back up a little bit and talk about this weekend's one-on-one with Liz and I don't know that people on here, like, yes, I did help, but she had the Twisted Cat truck hooked to Nate's boat.
What'd you help me with?
Did I help you? I mean, I'm saying that you did a lot of it yourself, like driving. Like, people don't realize that you
did all of
drove.
that myself.
I know that you drove, pulled the boat, pulled the boat back or
We
to
backed
the
each other in.
yeah.
Did
But I
that,
mean-
but after that, it was we parted ways.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Late to the party, but Liz for the win.
Thanks, Gage.
But no, that's what's cool is like Liz, like there was no like somebody on that boat or helping. I mean, it was a good thing to see. And again, that's what's cool about tournament fishing is it's anybody's game. Things can change. You know what I mean? I got on some good fish really quick, and then I wanted to change because the wind was, wild and it's rough, and
The wind was stupid.
wind was terrible.
Strings have been like that.
And that was your first time fishing in a boat
Solo.
completely by yourself.
Yeah. Thanks, John. I think I like what Wayne says.
You've got a boat. She has a boat.
I do, but what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna get a boat at some point. Yeah, I'm gonna get a boat at some point.
Are we gonna do a little head-to-head picture of Joe and Joe?
Oh well, yeah. Tom got it already. Remember?
Oh yeah.
All right, Roth. I'm gonna send you a link also so you can jump in. It was a good time to the both of you for what you had to do. Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, win or lose. Definitely a good time. It was fun. Oh,
I'll
okay.
talk a little softer. But yeah, again, being a part of that was really awesome. There's a lot of things that we're, looking at doing in the future. But so far, it's really fun. Really fun. Like, I'm super excited to drive to Pekin Friday and Saturday, sit in my truck practically all day. I mean, I'll be going all day like I'm putting on a tournament, sitting in my truck with my computer and all that stuff. And eventually, obviously, really?
Excuse me? You really want to chip that?
The goal is I can send the stuff and it's kind of a plug and play, but we're dialing it in. We want it to be good to watch, fun to watch. And then if you've noticed, which is kind of, I got to look into that, Facebook is starting to delete all live videos 30 days after they've been recorded. So I think that stuff's staying on YouTube. So even right now we're on YouTube. This weekend, Randy Welcher messaged me and said, hey, I wish you'd have been on YouTube. We could watch it on the TV instead of struggling to get it on the TV, which it is on YouTube. So make sure you go to the YouTube channel. Every time we go live, our video is also streamed on YouTube.
Like right now.
Right now we're on YouTube. also. So if you're on Facebook and you're seeing where it says 53 people watching, that's Facebook, and then there's also people on YouTube. Didn't get to watch much. Spent the day listening to 4-year-old grandson talk about the fishing tournament. Yeah, he did enjoy that.
Shauna said that he wouldn't quit talking about the catfish. It's funny. Thanks, Tom.
So yeah, so to kind of clue everybody in, the next couple weeks, you're going to get crazy busy. This weekend, it looks like I'll be going to Pekin, Illinois, Friday and Saturday for Joe and Joe's 1v1. Sunday, we have something, or else I'd try to schedule another 1v1. And then next weekend will be the 18th and 19th. Liz and I will be at Cornfield Demo Days, Cornfield Fishing on Lake Kentucky Lake that weekend. Just talking about catfish. We'll have some catfish seminars, and we'll have boats on the water. So if you want to go out on the water, talk about your graphs, how to set your boat up, Liz and I will be there doing all that. We'll have our boat on the water. So pretty excited about that. If you want to be a part of that, obviously it's a Cornfield Fishing Demo Days. That'll be fun. And again, that's Friday, April 17th and Saturday, April 18th. And then that Sunday, Jackson will probably be fishing out of our boat, and Chris Wallace will be in his boat. Chris Wallace has Starlink Mini. We'll see how that's going to work with somewhere on Kentucky Lake is their plan for that. Are those loaded taco Doritos?
No. Actually, I found them at Sam's Club. Sweet chili, gourmet rice snacks. I mean, they're probably not as healthy as they sound. They're really good. And they're addicting. Sorry. I'm snacking. You didn't make me any food all day today.
I've been nonstop at it today. And then the weekend after that, the 23rd through the 25th, will be the Theark Catfish Invitational, the 15th annual Owners Invitational. We're giving away a Theark Pro Cat 200. It's going to be orange.
Ooh,
orange, like Tom's boat.
Ooh, I like that. Hey, Clyde. Happy birthday, Clyde.
Happy birthday, Clyde. What's up, Jason?
I taco Doritos one, like really good.
He says he's never seen them. Hey, thanks, Ted.
He was talking to me. Good thing.
Randy Walsh, you can mirror your screen, show your phone to the TV. That's what I did. Yes, you can do that. Yeah, YouTube is much better. It's easier. But yeah, you make sure you watch it on YouTube. It's crazy how many people hit us up watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, you're on TikTok. Where'd she go? Roth, I sent you a invite. Yeah. So the rest of April we are slammed. And then it goes to May 3rd. Where are we already at? We had 4 people register, I think, today for Fort Madison. I did get Mike Taylor in. Mm-hmm. Fort Madison, which is still a ways away. Gosh, it's a month.
It's a month away.
It's a month. And we are at 48 boats. We only had 52 last year.
Crazy. 21, Mike Tay. 21. Oh, that's right. We had to fix his name. He went to register himself so fast. He forgot to spell his name.
But if you look at this list, what's cool is you got Randy Welcher from Alabama. You got Donna Moore, Missouri, Nate, Bill and Cindy White from Alabama.
Oh, nice.
You got Jason Moore from the Missouri-Kansas border, Tara and Lisa Haraway, Kennedy, Gilbert, Yvonne, John Williams. So this is
But this is like one of the best places.
Well,
I mean,
if
this
you
is where
got
we just fished.
yeah, if you got to watch where we just fished, I mean that was Fort Madison. So we
Fort Madison peeps, take notes on where I was.
yes.
Thanks, Brian.
That's awesome, Randy. How's it look and sound on YouTube? Good?
Does it still zoom into your face?
Or is it zoomed in? What do I miss here? Is the giveaway boat for the captain or individuals at Sea Arc Invitational? We call the captain up.
Like captain of each boat.
And then if I'm the captain and Liz is my partner and Liz and another buddy, obviously that's between who figures it out. I've won 2 boats.
I've won one.
She's won 1. Yeah.
Clyde, that doesn't sound like a bad problem to have. 4 tournaments the next 4 weekends. That sounds like a good time.
Nate, trust me. Listen. We've seen some of your spots on the graph, and
I went against looking at your spots, Nate.
I don't know what you're looking at.
I went with what looked good. Maybe you can learn from where I anchored up at.
Josh, it's in Facebook Messenger. I sent it to you on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, his dad. Yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of boat giveaways. So that's something that we're working on also. How do you take an angler and take him to the next level? This 1v1 helps kind of push that, envelope. You get to really see the person. You're all day with them if you're watching. But, we look at it as in you take like Alex. So what have I done in my career, whether it's tournament fishing or in the sport. So we're going to start with some of the anglers on Twisted Cat, some of the anglers of the year. And we're going to start putting, which we've already started. Tom's been getting headshots. And then we're reaching out. And some people are a little bit against it. But, boats you've won, tournaments you've won, where you've qualified. And we're not talking about every little tournament here. This, you know what I mean? Just things that we can track easy, not stuff that was made up. How much money was won? Because if talking to a few of the top anglers through Twisted Cat, people always say, well, you don't make money. I mean, there's some people that have made a decent amount of money over the years, and it's pretty shocking. So that is something that we're working on, pretty excited about. I have laughed at a few of Nathan's spots too. 2 are my trail and 1 is Sea Arc Invitational. Yeah, so we're at 148 boats for the Sea Arc Invitational. Last year, I think we had 152. We used to be around 200 boats, and then we went from 2 people in a boat to 3. Obviously, that changed things, just like we do with the Twisted Cat. We allow 3 adults in a boat now. But yeah, so a lot of things coming. The new website, the anglers. Obviously, we're going to have to start. You probably got we've won a good amount of money together too. Mm-hmm. We've won a boat. We've won $4 or $5 grand at a MRM. Yeah, it's wild. I think just when we were counting my stuff up with boats, it was close to 80,000. Now that's 80,000 in 10 years, and that's really not making money. But did I send it to the wrong? Hold on a second, Josh. Do you have a fake profile on here or something?
Oh no! I just put this together.
Oh, it's definitely not that Josh. Well, hold on. Yeah, that's so weird. St. John, Missouri. I don't know. It must be
one of your mutual friends is Josh Ross.
All right, let's try that again.
You're going to have more than 2 mutual friends.
Where's his? Oh, it's got Bill in it.
It's Bill.
Where in the world? Okay. I sent it to the wrong one. That's crazy. There you go. You got it now. Purdue might have won. Purdue, you might have won 2K. I've seen you spend 2K in a night before the tournament.
Yeah. Right.
See, this is cool. Craig said I'd be willing to bet 1K on the Missouri River for a bracket tournament. So the cool thing is, hopefully, what this does is get more people involved, on their platforms and start building, some of this. We can only do so many. Obviously, this is a start. We got a lot of things that we're looking at, but we just did one this weekend, which is extremely a ton of time and work. And now next weekend, we're going to Pekin to do another one. It's pretty much a Friday and almost a 2-day deal. So no matter what, we got to be on the computer and do that kind of stuff. But yes, hopefully this continues to keep rolling. Hopefully he don't join and is being a bag eating Cheetos. Hopefully he don't join and is eating a beanbag eating Cheetos. Who's he talking about? Oh, he's talking about Josh.
Talking about who?
He's in a. Hold on, Josh. There. Who in the world was I sending you a message to?
So ironically enough, here in St. Genevieve, there are 2 Josh Roths. Josh Adams could probably attest to that. Yeah. Whenever we were both in school, it was kind of a pain keeping our lunch money straight, making sure the money went into the right account. Thankfully, my mom worked at the school, so it was never a problem, but you can imagine that could get dicey.
I was going to say, well, that guy, whoever the other one is going to go, why in the world did I get a StreamYard link to go live with this guy?
Right?
Others.
But he is a fisherman also.
Oh, that's what Timmy said. He says, yeah, the wrong Josh would be in a beanbag chair eating Doritos.
Should I go upstairs and get some Doritos?
Yeah. So what, you were just like in the Bahamas or somewhere beautiful, right? Awesome.
Yeah, we were down in the Bahamas for a little over a week. The weather didn't want to cooperate, neither did the boat that we were on. If one or the two would have cooperated a little bit better, we would have gotten a chance to enjoy more water activities. We still had a good time, still a lot of fun. Kids really enjoyed, and we caught some cool stuff. But yeah, the weather was super, super windy. I think there was a gale force wind warning 3/4 of the time that we were there. And then the boat that we were supposed to be on, it was a brand new boat. It was the first hybrid engine model of this particular series. And of course, whenever we went down, they had nothing but problems with it. Only half of the systems were working. And I don't know, a lot of it was over my head, but we couldn't get it out. We went out for about an hour one day, but we didn't really leave the harbor. So that was kind of a bummer because we had actually planned to tour a couple of the islands and just anchor out in some just coves or whatever, different cove each night, and do some trolling and fishing while we were out there. And we were going to get to snorkel and do some scuba diving and all kinds of stuff, but didn't get a chance to do any of that. But it was all good. We'll get a chance to do it again.
That's awesome.
So what are you working on now?
I'm done doing what I was doing, but I got a bunch of fishing lures I got to paint for Mark for Bluff City Outdoors. But you probably see this.
Okay, so yeah, and literally Rhett 2 days ago, actually right before Liz and I go one-on-one, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go fishing tomorrow. Josh really wants me to use that lure he gave me."
Yeah.
And saying, "Yeah, wait till I'm with you, please. Like, I don't want you to throw that and lose it the first go." I said, just hold off. Because I think you gave him 2 and you signed them. And I
Yeah.
said you can use one, but the other one's going to be hanging on your wall. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Cool. Well, hope he catches something with them. What was crazy, whenever we went down to the Bahamas, I took a bunch of these foiled ones and just painted some bright blues and bright yellows and stuff on them, and was hoping to get out and catch, I don't know, some jack, some Spanish mackerel. Hell, I would have even been happy if a barracuda or something would have hit, but obviously we didn't get a chance to do that. But the last night we were there, we switched harbors, and the harbor that we were in, just as soon as it got dark, there were these 5 to 7 foot tarpon just hammering these little bait fish that were attracted to the lights underneath of our boat. So I go and grab, and I'd already put almost all my fishing stuff away except for one rod. Put my swim bait rod back together, and I just start ripping these swim baits through the slips. And I about got one to hit, but I tried every different color scheme that I had, and I had 2 different sizes. Those tarpon, man, I couldn't get any of them to bite. And I was talking to our captain, and he goes, they've got really, really good eyesight, so there's a chance they're probably seeing those bigger hooks that you've got on there. He goes, normally we catch them with flies or with crustaceans. He said they really like blue crab, but we had some shrimp. So I got the smallest hook that I had in my bag, and it was maybe just like a little 2-aught, and I just put chunks of shrimp on there. And I mean, these tarpon were coming all the way up to the surface and just hammering these little bitty fish. So I had a catch the fever striper stealth rod. I was trying to catch these tarpon with, and I was just barely dangling the shrimp like right at the surface of the water. And man, I had one of them come this close to it, but it would come up and then it would just turn away. It wouldn't grab it. I don't know if it would just see something it didn't like, but I even put a monofilament or a fluorocarbon leader on there, so I didn't have any steel or anything visible. But I don't know, man. He said they're real finicky, and they were finicky because I tried chasing them for probably 2 hours and throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them, and I couldn't get them. But then they disappeared around 11. So I had another bait fish that was still frozen that I caught the night before. It was like they call it a grunt, 8 or 9 inch long fish. I cut the tail off of it and I dropped that thing down, and shoot, that thing wasn't soaking for 20 minutes. And all of a sudden the bait clicker started pulling. And I let it go for about 35, 40 seconds. And then when I tried to engage, I felt it on there, and then it just dropped the bait. Must have just been a short bite, probably just a little nurse shark or something. But we did catch about a 6 foot nurse from the first spot we were at. We caught it on a little piece of shrimp on a striper rod, one of those medium action catch a fever striper stealth rod with 30-pound braid. It was freaking nuts, man. My daughter fought it for a little bit, and she hands off the rod and she goes, "Here, you do it." I was like, okay, whatever. But we got all the way up to the surface and got the hook out, so it was pretty neat.
So have you caught a nurse shark before?
2. Yep, that was my third one. I caught a 7-footer off of the beach a couple years ago, and then the next day we caught an 8.5-footer doing the same thing. So that's three of those.
Yeah, we caught one. What do we think it was?
And then I caught
sand shark.
She thought it was a sand shark for the longest time.
It just looked like sandy.
Because they're real rough textured, you know what I mean? Kind of weird, you know, to hold and stuff. Oh, he's stuck.
He is very stuck.
He's either really impressed with what you just said. But yeah, no, you caught, was it 6, 7 foot? Oh.
Yeah.
Real.
Literally.
6, 7. There you are.
Yep. I don't know what happened. But what were you guys saying? You guys caught one, didn't you?
Oh, so yeah, we caught one in Fort Pierce Inlet.
Nice.
And that was pretty cool.
Yeah. They're cool looking fish. And, you know, it was funny because I forget what day it was, but the boat that we were on had this little 16-foot inflatable dinghy on the back of it, and it had the plastic handles attached. And I was actually using the handle as a rod holder. I'd shoved the butt of one rod underneath of it, and at one point I was using a whole bait fish, like a 7-inch grunt. I just barely cut the tail off of it and sent it down, trying to catch a shark. And I was sitting there just with my smaller rod catching some more just on squid, and I had one on, and I hear the bait clicker behind me, and I look back, and it was an extra heavy Hellcat Revenge. And it was bent pretty decent, so I hurried up, threw the one fish back, and grabbed that rod. And I thought it was a smaller nurse shark, but it ended up being like a 21, 22-inch Nassau grouper on there. And those are really good to eat. Everybody eats them around there. Every restaurant we went to had grouper on the menu. But our captain said because we were staying in New Providence, there's a rule you can't catch and keep fish within a mile of New Providence because it's really touristy. And I guess if everybody caught fish there, they'd pretty much wipe everything out. So unfortunately, we threw it back, but it was still a lot of fun to catch.
Interesting. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on with that.
So this was kind of an idea that came up at the Twisted Cat Expo. Somebody presented this idea to me that, hey, you should do a pay lake fish. And of course he goes, well, hear me out because, kind of side, like, what are you talking about, And he goes, you need to do a pay lake fish, put all the sores, all the lesions, everything on it, make it look as horrible as possible to promote awareness for the situation going on within our industry. And man, within 15 minutes, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, hell yeah, that needs to happen. So, I was sitting down at the hotel bar with, I think, Brian St. Ama, Coy Sneed, and a couple other people that evening. And I threw that idea out there and they're like, dude, let's talk tomorrow morning about that. So that would have been, I guess, Saturday morning, before, about 10 minutes before the VIP thing opened up, got with those guys. And before you know it, we had probably 10 or 12 people were already on board with it, wanting to get behind it and whatnot. So yeah, let me grab this. So what I did was I have a 44-inch blue cap mold in-house. It's a 44 by 33. Normally a fish that size I'll cast up in fiberglass resin, but with this one I cast it up in a plastic resin and was able to actually remove about 5 to 6 inches of girth from the belly of this fish. And I did put a different head on it, but the goal was to make this thing just look as sick and as terrible as possible. So I'm going to try to walk around this thing. And the pedestal, that I actually got a phone call while I was down in the Bahamas that the pedestal is actually done. I mean, you can see how skinny that fish is. Very, very skinny on it, but just covered the thing in sores and lesions just to make this thing look like it came out of a juiced pay lake. And it's just got
wow, that looks really good.
The corners of the mouths just tore all the heck on it, and it's got sores and stuff inside the mouth. It's even got a hole, all the way through there on it. But
yeah, this is great. What do you have enough people to help cover the cost? I know you're looking at some sponsors. Where are you at with that?
We had, I think, 20 people. There may be one or two, or there were 20 commitments initially, but I think we may have had one or two back out. But anybody that's wanting, even if we get the full 20 or whatever on there, I'd still be happy to take any additional donations just to help get this thing to more shows and whatnot, just to cover logistics and hotel rooms and whatnot. Because the whole goal behind this thing, I try to go to a couple shows a year just to set up a vendor booth and whatnot. But the whole goal of this thing was to take it out and just create awareness for what's going on. Because, I've had a couple people come in the garage and have seen that and been like, man, that looks cool. What's going on with that? And then you tell them the story about it and they're like, holy cow, that's actually a thing. And they say, yeah, Joe Rogan talked about it, and, check out exposingpaylakes.com. And, it kind of blows their minds because just the general public has no idea. Heck, I even talked to a local game warden one time that had no idea what was going on. And this stuff's right in our backyard where these fish are getting taken from at this point. Same way I talked to another sheriff's deputy who's a good customer of mine, comes in all the time. And, he saw it and asked about it. And I told him, and he works with the game warden, the local game warden all the time. And he had no idea. what was going on with that. But something else I did too, and you can't see it because it's on a stand way over there, but ironically, I caught my PB blue cat last fall, and it was a 44.5-inch. Probably, I can't officially say I broke 60 pounds because we didn't have batteries in the scale that worked, but it was about the same size fish. But I left that, I molded that fish as is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this fish on display, and then I'll have my fish right next to it. So you'll be able to see, okay, here's what, a healthy river fish looks like, a 44-inch healthy river fish. And then here's what an unhealthy 44-inch fish that's been malnourished and shocked in a pay lake and everything like that looks like. So, I mean, you'll get an apples to apples comparison of, what they look like, because the mold that my fish came out of, or and this one came out of too, based on the measurements, is like a 62 to 65 pound fish. Whenever you take the measurements for what this fish is now, it's like 44.6. So it's gonna be pretty drastic when you put those two side by side, what the difference is on them. And the pedestal, it's gonna have probably just like a flat grass bank. Gonna put probably a landing net, like have the fish sitting on a landing net, and then have like a little sign, right next to it that says 44.6. How they weigh them and they measure them at the pay lakes and whatnot. And then we're gonna have a banner made that's just gonna talk about, the difference between trophy pay lakes and farm raised stocked pay lakes, and how these fish are sourced, and then probably have a QR code link to exposingpaylakes.com, and then I'll go through the sponsor list and reach out to everybody to see if they want their name on it. Obviously, we'll put it on there. But, some of the people have wished to remain anonymous, which is totally fine, totally understandable. We appreciate.
Yeah, you got to let me know, because that's still, I need to get you paid for those.
No, and that's fine. That was one of those things. Before I have the banner made, I'm going to just go down through the list of everybody, and then, do all that. But we're good on all that stuff now. But honestly, this thing will probably be finished next 3 weeks, something like that. So, but yeah,
and once it's finished, I'm gonna get some cool pictures and videos of that.
Oh yeah,
when we change places is gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, because my initial plan is to go to both of the MRM events and then try to hit the Perryville Twisted Cat, because that's super close to me. And then if there's some additional ones that are within a fairly easy day trip, wouldn't mind making a couple of those as well, just to take this out and just let the people see it.
So what else you got going on? Are you staying pretty busy on Catfish or?
Yeah, Catfish and spoonbill right now. I've been getting a lot of spoonbill inquiries, but I actually just painted a big old blue cat for William Kimball earlier today. I've got a skipjack I painted 2 weeks ago for that. Probably clear coat those two tomorrow, and then have that put together by the end of the week. I just assembled a 25-inch cutthroat trout. I got to mail out to Colorado, but I've got a spoonbill that's ready to paint on a stand over here. I've got 2 more from last season I got to put together and paint here shortly. And then I just ended up getting, actually while I was on vacation, I got 2 more spoonbill. I was sitting in the airport in Miami in our layover, talking to a customer, getting the payment deposit and his receipt and everything. And I got another guy I still got to call, but his guide was like, yeah, here, just call this guy. He wants a fish done. He doesn't care what it costs. Like, okay.
Did you see what we weighed at all the plastic?
What's that? No,
I
did not. No, There was a 110 caught, wasn't there?
110.
Yeah,
that's awesome. We weighed
that's
6,
awesome.
I think, over, but that's the biggest one.
Whew. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what if let's say that I'm wanting to get a mountain A or a big blue turnarounds, and how's all that working?
My current lead times are about 12 to 14 months from the time I receive a deposit till the time a project's completed. I know that scares off some people, but honestly, it's fairly regular within the taxidermy world. And I know some of my peers are 2+ years out on work, but yeah, I try to stay on stuff as quick as I can and hit the timelines and whatnot. I've got one right now that, or a pretty big project I'm working on right now for a guy out in North Carolina. It's like a 124-pound blue cat, and it's going to be chasing a couple like 14-inch gizzard shad. And then there's going to be a 15-inch crappie mixed in with the shad that's going to be chasing a couple shiner minnows. And I've got the shiner minnows already painted and hanging up. I've got the 2 gizzard shad painted. They're hanging up out in the shop. Or out in the garage. I still had to paint his catfish and his crappie, but.
And if you've not seen any of Josh's work, like nothing compares to. Like I've seen a lot of blue cats, but it's real. Unreal. Awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was a little that cut bow that I put, it was a cut bow, so it's a cross between a rainbow trout and a cutthroat. It looks like a rainbow, but it's got a bright red patch like right along here. Before I put it on the piece of wood, I thought about taking it to one of the local MDC lakes that they stock with the rainbow trout and just taking a picture with it and just being like, oh, there still is a lunker in here, and posting it on the local Facebook gossip page. But I had too much other crap going on. I'm sure it would have had people over there fishing though if we'd have done that.
Yeah, I'm gonna share all your screen a little bit too and show people just how realistic. Who caught that?
Oh, I forget the guy's name, the customer's name that caught that. Michael Sapp caught that one on a limb line. That one right there was caught by Mark Morey up in South Dakota. Well, they're from South Dakota. They caught it Milford, and that's his wife. His wife caught that one.
That's
Milford
awesome. Awesome mount right there.
Yeah, the smaller one, the smaller piebald that Mark Morey caught, that one was caught with Show Me Catfishing. I did that one a couple years ago. I forget it was a younger kid caught that one, and I think he was in a bad car wreck not too long after I finished that fish, and it took a little bit to get it back to him while he recovered, I think. That's been a couple
do you have this live stream planned on something else?
No, it's just on my iPad.
I wonder why there's an echo.
I'm just going to log out of Facebook on my phone. Maybe.
Test.
Is that any better?
It's still echoing for some reason.
Huh.
Maybe go in or go out and come back in.
I'm wearing a microphone. Maybe that's it. I'm just going to kill this.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, there's no echo now. Does it sound still good?
Yeah. So I had a microphone on that was plugged into my iPad. I guess maybe that was the problem.
Yeah, it sounds good now.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So Clyde said, I wish I would have gotten length and girth and more pics of the albino blue I caught. So I guess, again, my question is, because Liz and I got to get something cool on the wall. You know, she caught that nurse shark. It would actually be pretty sweet, I think. So let's say that I'm out fishing. Obviously, I practice CPR. I don't want to, kill the fish. And I catch a fish of a lifetime. Maybe it's 80 pounds or 50 or whatever, and it has a cool look to it. What do I need to do if it's 10 o'clock at night? What do you need? You need pictures, length, kind of go through that a little bit, just so people know what to do when that happens.
Yep. So the best pictures that you can, I mean, I know it's tough taking them at nighttime, but if you can get the best lighting on them that you can, that's obviously going to be beneficial. If you can get the length and then the girth around the widest part of the fish, and then also the weight, if you can get all three of those, it's ideal. But honestly, I can I can make it work with only one of the three, because normally what I can do is, you know, obviously if you got pictures of your fish and you've got just the weight on it, I can take your weight of your fish, look through my catalogs to see what other blanks are out there for that weight, and then just kind of look at the profile of your fish compared to the blanks, and then kind of figure out from there, you know, what would be best on it. I do know with big catfish, because, you know, catch and release is very, very popular. The amount of blanks that are out there is very, very limited. So, you know, whenever you said you caught an 80-pounder, I would automatically default to Lake Country's 49-inch by 36. It's like a 76 to 82-pound fish. I pretty well know which ones are out there, what are good and what's not. And I always have that conversation with the customer up front, and I tell them, look, you know, this is the closest that's out there. There's just not a lot. You know, if you want your exact fish, I can't do that. I'd rather lose the customer up front being honest than say, oh yeah, I can do it. And then heaven forbid they get up there with a string and a tape measure, and, you know, it ends up being an inch or so off,
Yeah.
you know, wherever. But generally,
But this is what's cool though, Josh, is, I mean, you're looking at like this, obviously this is his fish. This is the picture that he took and showed you. And then this is what you created out of that. I mean, the marks, I mean, it looks identical. I mean, that's wild. That looks like a real catfish right there.
Yeah. And that was a fun one, because, you know, whenever, you know, when a customer catches a fish like that, that's all tore up, you know, sometimes they want all the marks on them. Sometimes they don't. I remember I want to say it was an 89 or 90-pound blue cat for a guy a couple years ago. It won big fish at a tournament, and it had a really prominent scrape along the top of it, and I nailed it. I mean, it looked perfect on there, and he goes, man, I don't know if I like how bloody that is. Can you take it, you know, tone it down a little bit? So before I clear coated it, you know, I was able to kind of come off of it a little bit, because ultimately, you know, the customer lives with it on their wall. I want to make sure that they're happy with it. But yeah, that customer with that one from Texas, Eduardo Rodriguez was that customer's name. He goes, I want all the scratches. Give them all to me. I was like, okay, sure. And he loved it. He was absolutely tickled to death with how that one turned out.
Yeah, and I was there when we presented this last year. That was super awesome.
Did you see where they moved it at the pyramid?
Yes, I did. Yeah, Liz and I did.
That's so disappointing. And then they hung this.
I think read something about that. Ethan.
Yeah, did somebody were there touching it or something?
So there was a couple whiskers one of the whiskers got broke off on it, and I had a couple people mention it to me. So I actually reached out to Bill and I said, hey, you know, this is what's going on. And he gave me the contact of somebody over there at the pyramid, and I reached out to him, and they said, well, we're just going to have somebody in-house fix it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I don't even know if they fixed it or not. I didn't make it over to the pyramid whenever we were down there at Memphis for your event, but I knew some people took some pictures and said that it was up. They put it up top, I guess, above his boat or whatever.
Yeah, above his boat.
But they put a sign over where my logo was on it, on the mount, the base of the mount anyway.
Gosh, that is awesome. Like that one right there. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah, that was Ben Gobel's River City Guide Service of Southern Indiana.
So yeah, you got some good things. Like I said, we're excited. Hopefully we get something made, but you are actually making something for us. Well, actually for Sea Arc and Twisted Cat, which we're going to be displaying it in just a few weeks.
I've got two of the flatheads. You want me to go grab them?
Yeah. Show us.
All right, I'll be right back.
So we're trying. So when Liz and I were at our fishing expo in Memphis, Josh was set up there and had some really cool stuff set up. And Liz and I looked at each other and were like, I wonder if that could be a trophy or somehow, you know, could we? So I went and got Nate Moore and brought him over. And so Nate with Classic, they're kind of working together, and I'm pretty pumped about it. And then we're also going to do it for the Twisted Cat Outdoors Championship. But Let's see if I can make you big there.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
here's one of the little 3D printed flatheads that I painted. If anybody was at the Twisted Cat Expo, I had a couple of these that I raffled off.
That's so
There's one of the flatheads, even got the little crush pads painted in there. But yeah.
Somehow between you and Nate, and I'm staying out of it because I don't know what I'm doing on that. I don't do trophies and stuff, or I can't paint. You guys are going to have that mounted on a trophy. So that'll be, we'll have I think what are we doing? A blue cat and a flathead for the two first place trophies, and then a blue cat for the big fish. So we'll have 3 big trophies with 3 of these fish, and we're going to do the same thing for the Twisted Cat.
Yep. I actually got, when I picked up our mail today, I had the box came from my guy that 3D prints these things, and I've got them all over there. I was out in the garage till about midnight last night watching a hockey game, laying up fins for all those and doing some other stuff, but I'm going to start grinding on that here probably Wednesday. But I was tinkering around, did a couple spoonbill too. Got a couple of these little dudes. And then I did a marble paint job on this one. This looks freaking wild. Isn't that cool looking?
That's awesome.
That's neat. Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like that, these might be the coolest trophies we've ever in 12 years done now.
And I even think, if you wanted to change it up or something, we could do like the catfish in like this marble paint job too. That might be kind of cool. But I got
you do your thing, man. Like I said, I'm excited.
We'll go all realistic. We'll go all realistic on these this round, and then maybe change it up next year or something if we want. It doesn't matter to me. But yeah, he's got sharks and stuff too. Like I got a couple hammerhead sharks, a couple tiger sharks, a couple great whites, and then after my daughter and I caught that nurse shark the other day, I ended up ordering a couple nurse sharks. So I'm gonna do a nurse shark for her for just to give it to her. Because she helped catch that fish the other day. She was pretty excited about it. So we could do a 10-inch nurse shark for you if you want.
Oh, that would be cool, man. Like I said, did you ever see the picture of hers?
I don't know if I did.
Is it on your Facebook list?
Yeah. You want me to just send it to you? It might be easier.
Yeah, because she likes to do this. I mean, she's all about the sharks. I'll tell you, the Florida thing, I was talking to somebody the other day about Florida and Louisiana. And, like, obviously, we love fishing up here. But when you go down south, like, Louisiana is awesome. But we went to Fort Pierce, which is, like, north of Jupiter it's this massive inlet.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the water where it looked like Coca-Cola? And there was boats everywhere.
That was the other place where like the piers that went down, or
what water was that?
Below
Fort, whatever. It was between Jupiter and Fort Pierce Inlet, which Fort Pierce Inlet's massive. That's where we had like the cool different colorations of the water.
The picture is a little dark.
Yeah, this picture is going to show you exactly.
Oh, nice.
Look how clear that water you can see 10 feet down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can see.
So if you look behind us, we're in the inlet right there, and we're in some pretty serious current. I did not plan on getting into some serious salt water. Now there's salt water, and then there's Louisiana brackish water. This is straight. I mean, we took the boat and trailer and spent hours cleaning everything off. So I don't know. We're gonna probably do it again, honestly, because what's cool is it's one of the places where there's more species than any other place, like in the country or somewhere. You just never know what you're going to catch. And we had some fish take us underneath some like barges further inland that I don't know. I mean, I think they're a big Goliath, but dude, it was like even this nurse shark, like we didn't know what we had on the line. It just kind of slowly went down, almost like a flathead. And then it fought, it would go back down. You were in a ton of current, pretty deep water.
That's honestly a perfect way of describing how those things hit. They do hit like a flathead, just like real slow, and then they just pull.
Yeah, so no, that was pretty awesome.
That's sweet.
but we thought it was like a sand shark. But until you, I mean, I don't even know how you just in the strength. Like it took a while for her to get that.
Yeah, that one is so much stronger, I think, than like the other kind of sharks that I caught.
Yeah, I think it was powerful.
But
Yeah,
once he was in the boat,
I was on the fence about doing the mount of my nurse shark for a while. I was, because just my cost on a fiberglass shoulder of that 8.5 footer that I caught, I think my cost was like $800, and that was without shipping on it. I went and picked it up because they would have had to freight it on a truck. But I was wanting to wait and catch something toothier. But I tell you what, after I ended up doing that thing, I am so glad I did because that thing turned out so freaking gnarly. Those fish just look so sinister and so cool. Even though in the grand scheme of things, they are like kind of like big puppy dogs. They're not super aggressive. They're pretty docile, but they look super cool.
Yeah, we had no idea. Like we're like, it was in the boat and it was freaking out. Like we tried to grab it and she was trying to bear hug it. We didn't know if it was dangerous or because the tail slap, like that's a real thing. I mean, a shark tail slap is a big deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it has a heck of a tail on it too. I mean
I mean, not to take anything away from a 50, 60, 80 pound blue cat tail slap, but like a saltwater fish or a shark, those anything saltwater, it seems like, I mean, they've got to compete with Lord knows whatever else out there, so they're just that much stronger.
You did get tail slapped, actually. Remember that?
But that one, yeah. I mean, it hurt.
It hurt. I do.
Well, and remember my knees were kind of. I mean, it's like a soft sandpaper, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it messed her legs up too. We didn't
underneath scuffed my legs.
No, that was a cool fish. I don't know. We're gonna have you do something here soon. We need to get something cool on the wall next to all the trophies and all that stuff. Cool shark. That's what the trophies that you're gonna do for the Sea Arc owners and the Twisted Cat Championship. I'm super like that would be something I would want to win so bad. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I know the Roger and Kevin Breedlove are doing their April Patriot catfishing event coming up this weekend, and they've got some for that. And I'm sure as soon as I think Roger shared some of them the other day. He just mounted them up to some driftwood, pretty much just like what I had on display that I was raffling off at the Twisted Cat event, and they turned out really, really cool. But I know all the boat captains are really excited to try to win those. So
yeah, I don't know what between you and Nate, you'll have something pretty cool. Like I said, it's going to be cool to watch people host that. I mean, is that cool that one of your fish are going to be on a trophy I mean, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
It's pretty exciting.
Oh gosh, Chris,
you missed the whole
you gotta
show.
go back and watch everything, dude.
Doggone it.
So back to the Pay Lake fish. Obviously, you've got a list of 20 sponsors or people. Like I said, if I think that I don't know that you want more, but if you need more, they can reach out to you. I know I owe you for 2, so when that's ready, I'll Venmo you. Make sure that we get you, and we're super excited about that. Any event you want to be at to bring that fish and talk to, like I said, Nate Moore is working with myself and a few others. Obviously, we don't post a lot on Facebook about it with some things in Illinois. I think it's a big effort that everybody is. There's a lot of people doing a lot of work. Justin Browning does a lot of work. Sometimes he comes off a little much on social media. Still love him. And I'm going to probably have him on and talk about, he made a post about, the industry tournaments and all that stuff. And that's kind of a whole nother conversation. But, my goal as what I do and everything I'm a part of is obviously I'm 100% against Pay Lake fish. They should be like they are in Missouri where they're farm raised and all that. But it's sickening what we see, I see it all the time. So hopefully between everybody, this 1v1 stuff we're doing, the goal is it raises awareness so more of the outside world can see how cool a sport that catfishing is and the growth of it, and that people want to protect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and
like what sucks about it is I didn't realize until I kind of took on this project because I've worked and talked directly with Justin Browning on a handful of occasions now. He provided me all the reference pictures for this, but I didn't realize how bad that's actually in our backyard right now.
Sure
You
enough.
know, whenever I was talking to him, you know, he goes, they've got one of those big pay lakes has a holding pond in Gorham, Illinois, which is southern tip of Illinois. And he said there's another one in Crothersville, Missouri. And he said they're putting in the Cape Jackson area, the boat ramps there. They're putting in at Chester, Illinois, which as the crow flies, Chester's straight across the river from where I'm at. So, I mean, they're literally catching fish out of my body of water here. And I've known that for a while, you know, that it's been a problem with our industry, but I didn't really know how bad it was or didn't have a chance to experience it, how bad it really was until last fall. I did a red, white, and blue catfish for a veterans event, the Boots on the Water event out in Manchester, Ohio, and they were needing some boat captains, so I volunteered. Drove my truck and pulled my boat out there, and I got a chance to take a vet out 2 days in a row. And I fished my butt off 2 days in a row. I mean, and that part of the Ohio, that time of year, it's like a big lake. There's no current, so pulling boards is the way to cover water and to catch fish. I mean, we were pulling inside bends, outside bends, straights, flats, dropping off of flats onto, you know, ledges, anchoring up on fish, anchoring up on ledges, fishing creek mouths, into creeks where there was bait. Literally tried everything under the sun. And in 2 days of fishing, I got 2 bites, caught no fish. And I think they said there was like 54 boats registered the day of the actual event that took vets out. And nearly half of those boats either only caught 1 fish or didn't catch any fish. And that exact same day down in Alabama, the Patriot guys had their event. And I watched their weigh in, and I tell you what, man, it broke my heart for my vet because every boat captain was literally catching hundreds of pounds of fish. And I've had a chance to experience that down there and take a vet out and put them on fish like that. And to not be able to provide that in Ohio just freaking killed me, man. And that's when it really, really hit me that how bad that situation is. And then, you know, when you find out that they're in our backyard, it's like, I don't want our stretch of the river to be like what I fished in Manchester, Ohio last fall. Like, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking them in my pool. I mean, they're all the way up in pool 20 of the Mississippi River. That's 6 pools from Alton. So we're dealing with it and, you know, the other big thing is that I'm an advocate about is, yes, we need laws 100%. But if we do a law and it's a slap on the wrist, it's a $25 fine, or it's this or that, like that does us nothing. So we got to get the laws, and they've got to use the laws. They got to, you know what I mean? They got to go after them. Because the other thing that we deal with in Illinois is we don't have a lot of DNR agents like we used to. Now, I think last summer, we know Wheatley is one of our around our area. I think we have 1, maybe 2 in like 3 or 4 counties. It's crazy. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know. And that's why I think as we come together as a whole, more and more people are getting involved in the sport. It helps grow and grow and grow.
Yep.
That's a weird YouTube comment. Do you see the YouTube comments come up?
No, I can't figure out how to get any of the comments to come up on here. And I don't want to accidentally exit out.
Yeah. But anyways, no, we appreciate everything you do. I'm glad you did this Pay Lake fish, and you know we're 100%. Hopefully that we can get some laws on that, on you know the transportation of all these fish to a lake where they're gonna. I mean, it's like we talked to a guy a few months ago. It's one of the head of Illinois fisheries, and he didn't realize that those fish are going out of the state to another state to get caught as many times as possible and then get thrown in a ditch or in a dumpster and like they're not even get used for meat or a food source. Like they're just gonna die. And they're taking that from I said, what if we did that? Because we're like some of the best deer hunting in the country. What if we did that here in Pike County, Adams County, people would, you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. So
Or
I feel from what I see, what we see here is that the sport's growing where we're getting some momentum, we're getting some power, you know, we're getting there. But there's going to be a lot of things that we run into, a lot of, you know what I mean, a lot of pushback.
I know, just like in the comments where I've been sharing short videos of this fish, you get the people that are like, well, not all Pele fish look like that, and not all of them are bad. And it's like, yeah, not all of them are bad. The ones that raise their own fish in a farm aren't bad. They're like, well, you know, you can support these big fish and these pay lakes. And it's like, no, you can't. If you can, why do you have to continue to restock them? Why are trucks from Ohio driving 8 to 10 plus hours to get fish? Because you have no more fish anymore. It's like your greed and money has come into play. I know that there used to be a lot of the farm raised pay lakes in that area, but the problem is like it's a slippery slope, right? So say you've got a farm raised channel cat pay lake, and then they throw in a couple blues and flatheads in there, and you know they do their gambling or their betting, and they give you an extra prize or the high prize if you catch a blue or a flathead. Well, you get more people coming out because now you got a chance to catch a couple of these big fish, and then before you know it, it's all blues and flatheads, and what used to be a pay lake ran the right way when it was all farm raised fish, it's now a trophy pay lake, and it's, I don't know, it sucks. Like
it's the numbers are so crazy. Like we did the numbers. I think I did it with Justin Browning, where in one weekend, like in Chester, for example, they take more pounds in one weekend than we weighed in our entire season as a whole.
That's a lot.
You have to think about how serious that is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
and I hate that. Yeah.
One weekend, that's one weekend, one body of water, one ramp is pulling more fish than Twisted Cat weighs in an entire season. That's wild.
And that makes me sick because had I not been on vacation all last week with the river rising, I actually thought about getting my boat out and fishing yesterday evening. And where I would have gone would have been a slough where the fish come up, you know, whenever the river floods, and it's straight across the river from Chester. So who's to say those guys aren't throwing hoop nets right in that area too?
We didn't. So pool 20, we're literally, it's our backyard. And we fished pool 19, probably 95. Did we fish for blues at all last year in here? Maybe
we
one.
We went down to the next dam.
Maybe one time for probably the least amount we've ever fished for blue cats in pool 20 was last year, just because the amount of fish they were taking out of this pool and the pool below us. I was just so disgusted by it that I didn't even want to go fishing for blues.
Mm-hmm.
So we would just fish up above for channel cats. Like it was just. It sucks. So that's again,
yeah.
Because I don't know what I'll do if I see that in person. Like I can't be in that situation. It wouldn't be good.
I know. I get
videos sent to me all the time. You know, videos they're hoisting the fish out of a boat into a truck with a tank. So they're weighing it. That's how they're weighing their fish before they put them in the tanks to leave. It sucks, but yeah. So we'll get there. Like I said, we got a lot of good people behind that's pushing it. You know.
And honestly, I forgot to mention the goal of this was to have it done for Steve's World Championship of Catfishing in Kentucky in May. So hoping to make that event, or planning to make that event and have it on display there as well.
And are you going to be able to bring some stuff to the Perryville event then? Which Perryville is your backyard, correct?
Yep. I plan to continue, probably just take this to every event that I go to, and then take my blue cat that's, like I said, the same size, came out of the same mold, but healthy, and then have a couple other little things. I think I'm going to end up doing a saltwater fish from the trip I went on, not even the grouper. We were catching these grunts and just these little reef fish, And these things are just gorgeous, man. I posted some pictures and some videos the other day on my business page of how pretty these little reef fish were. But one of my suppliers has one, and I caught a fairly large one. It was pretty close to the same size the other day. I'll do that at some point just to kind of show off some saltwater, just because it kind of sucks trying to take that big nurse shark shoulder all over the place. Plus, I mean, it's not a pretty fish. The nurse shark isn't. Yeah,
Is this the fish you're talking about?
that was the Goliath or the Nassau grouper that I caught. That the fish that my daughter caught, we couldn't figure out what that was. It was funny.
What
She was
is
wearing
that?
a super.
Look at that.
I don't know, but we caught a bunch of those. I used
It looks
that one
fat.
for shark bait. Yeah, I used that for shark bait that next night and got the short bite on it. But that's some kind of grunt right there. I'm not sure what kind that was, but there's a bunch of different kinds. The one I think I'm gonna do, yeah, that's a blue striped grunt. They're primarily yellow with the blue stripes on them, but if you look at them really close, they have a lot of like really pretty red and violet pearls in there too. And that was a little baby Nassau grouper. And that was the nurse shark we caught.
Did you bring it into the boat, or did you?
We did not bring it into the boat. No, that was as close as
That's
we
a
got.
big one.
We got the hook popped out right there, and that was a puffer fish. That's the biggest
What?
puffer fish I've ever seen.
Oh, that's cool.
I caught that, and I
How'd you-
didn't get that one out of the water. I think I have a video of it, but I don't know if I posted it or not. I didn't post it. But that puffer fish, I caught it on a chunk of shrimp, and I just used my pliers right there at the boat. Yeah, see that picture right there? That's a couple close-ups of another one of those grunts, those blue striped grunts. I mean, you can see how pretty
Yeah,
those
that's
things are. But
So again, this is another way to follow you. Is you got a business page, Rivers Edge Reproductions, so you can follow Josh on his Facebook page here, and especially if you want to get something done, that's sweet there too, man.
yeah, that's that cut bow getting ready to ship to Colorado.
Gosh, that's crazy how good that looks.
A lot of time in that fish.
Yeah,
Oh, I bet.
thing looks mean right there.
Yeah. I took that job.
Well, anything else?
I took that job on before I changed my cold water prices. Before, all my price point was the same all the way across the board, but after doing this for a few years now and kind of figuring out which fish take longer, which ones don't, I've got kind of a pricing tier now to where skin fish like catfish, sharks, paddlefish are one price point. Scaled fish, crappie, bass, bluegill, striper, all that jazz are another price point. And then cold water fish, trout, salmon, yada, 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 are marked up 25% because they just take an eternity to paint. I think I had 4 sits in that cut bow trout. Not 4 full days, but sit there and paint for 3 hours and then be about cross-eyed, go do something else, and then come back the next day, do it again, and yeah. But it turned out pretty. I'm very happy with how
So
it turned out.
what's the hardest fish you like to recreate, would you say?
To paint, honestly, I wouldn't say that any of them are particularly hard that I've done.
Or most time consuming?
Trout by far. That cut bow trout was probably one of the longest that's taken me. I have not done a brook trout or a tiger trout yet, but after seeing pictures of some that some other guys have done, I would say those will probably take the cake when I do one, as far as like most time consuming and tedious. But I try not to pander to cold water customers for that reason.
What about a bull red? Have you ever done one of those?
Oh yeah, I've done a couple of bull reds. All the ones that I've done.
I mean, like a big one?
Yeah, like 40-inch, 42. I've done a couple like 41, 42-inch bull reds. One of them actually they've all been bow kills down in Louisiana. I did one of them a couple years ago where there's actually an arrow punching through a water surface, going in right behind the gill plate because that's where the customer shot the fish at, and its spot on its tail was like a horseshoe. So yeah, that was a really pretty one. And honestly,
Well, that's probably a tough fish to do, right? Isn't it?
They're not that bad. They're just like those scales have 3 to 4 different golds, bronze, copper, silvers, depending on where the scales are at on the body. But after doing a couple of those, they're absolutely gorgeous, and I want one. I need one for my wall. Like I need to go catch one. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like it's
we better
it's
get
on
a
my
catfish.
bucket.
We better get a catfish first. I said we better get a catfish one, and then we'll do a red. But we just we fell in love with those bull reds.
Oh yeah, no, they're stunning. They are stunning fish.
You got someone yelling at you.
Yeah.
And then
talking about your we've seen your hockey helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of them on my Facebook page. I know you saw it, or I saw it whenever you pulled it up.
Yeah, we might have to get a red done now. That'd be sweet.
It's been probably 2 or so years since I posted that one. I think it's been a couple. Yeah, it's been. I know it's been at least 2 years, but if you dig deep enough, it is in there. But yeah, you guys catch a lot of those down in Louisiana, don't you? Whenever you guys are down there.
Oh my gosh, we can't wait to go back and think. So we would. I bet we caught 50, 60 one day.
Dang.
And we quit. There's times we were just sitting in the boat.
Yeah.
Talking, just hanging out. I don't even know because it's unreal. We took Benji Brown and his wife and Lindsay went. Anthony Brown came. We had a group of us.
Anthony and Leslie were in a boat. Benji and Lindsay were in a boat.
We put it goes south of Morgan City and some of them flats. And when you get on them, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're
catching them all the nights. It's a blast.
We caught some small ones in Florida a couple years ago. We went on an inshore charter, and for the first 45 minutes, we targeted reds. But the ones that we were catching were only 5 and 6 pounds. Granted, we were catching them on crappie rods, so that was a heck of a good time. But I couldn't imagine catching some big bulls. I really want to do that at some point.
Yeah, they're so much fun. Well, what else? Anything else you got coming up? Then you're getting that mount finished up. You got some trophies finished up. So,
I'm just trying to look to see what's hanging here. I'm working on a competition piece for nationals in July. I can talk about it a little bit because there's nobody in the taxidermy world on here. Typically, you don't talk about your competition piece around that world, but I'm doing a flathead, and I tried I casted the fish back in September. We had just got home, and I wasn't even unloaded from MRM, and a local guy calls me. He goes, "Hey, you still looking for a small flathead?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I gut hooked one earlier, and it's about to die in my live well." I was like, "I'll be there in 30 minutes." So I went and I got it. It was like a 22-inch flathead, just a little guy. But I molded it right away, and I'm trying to get a good blank pulled out of my mold on it. And when I say good, the blank I pulled out of the mold last night, it's good enough to do a regular commercial mount on, but there's some things where a judge would pick apart, whenever you're competing at the national level. They get under everything with a freaking microscope. But I think what I'm going to end up doing with this blank at some point, because it's, like I said, it's smaller. It's only 22 inches long. I'm going to put it in a log to do like a desktop or tabletop piece for somebody and just sell it outright. Because I don't want to, obviously I'm not going to waste the blank on it because I had some time stuck in it and money for materials. So, but outside of that, just chugging through the list. I know I've got a bunch of blue cats from tournaments.
So you staying busy then? Staying busy?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. I've got, just from tournaments that you've been a part of, I've got one I'm doing for Joe Lunsford. I've got Mac Monita's Big Fish from MRM last year.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've got a pile of blue cat blanks in the storage shed outside. They're all marked. Oh, I'm doing one for Nooner. Shoot, I don't know if No, his dad knows because they gave him the skipjack head for Christmas. I was like, crap, I hope I didn't just ruin that. But yeah, I forgot about that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so they're
Hope they seem to be doing one for us.
yeah. But yeah, got a bunch of blue cats, and a bunch of other stuff too. Like I've got a muskie, I've got a couple spoonbill, bunch of largemouth bass. I've got a couple smallmouth bass on the books, some crappie here and there. I just got a bull mahi, a 60-inch bull mahi a couple weeks ago. That was pretty sweet. Or that will be a pretty cool one. Trying to think of what else I got on the books right now. Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I have to write everything down. I'd never be able to keep it straight.
Well, if you're watching this and you got questions about this, you can reach Josh on his River's Edge Reproductions Facebook page. Follow him on his personal page or ask us, and we'll get you in contact with him. And he is the best we've ever seen, and that's why we enjoy, sharing his stuff. And hopefully, maybe this year we'll have to get a bull red and a catfish. Maybe get you a PB. What's 65?
65.
She caught her 60. Her PB is from Lake Paylord in Morgan City, Louisiana. So
nice.
We're gonna break that this year.
Heck yeah.
Anything else you got left to say before we cut the podcast?
You want to see this little catfish, the little flathead? Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah.
I say little. I mean, it's not huge, but probably just have this dude sitting in a log. Just a little closed mouth flathead. Yeah, I still got to clean up the center line and stuff on it, but put whiskers on it. There's a few little pinholes and stuff in the tail I got to fix, but yeah. For my competition piece, it's going to be chasing something. It'll be chasing a little crawfish. I'm going to have it there'll be like a rock with a crawfish kind of backing away from it, and the catfish is just going to be kind of looking at it. And I'm going to try to have a whisker coming down and actually have the whisker be the attachment point to the base itself. So that's going to be pretty cool. And it's lightweight enough. It's made out of plastic, so it shouldn't be a problem weight-wise, but I just got to get a better pull out of my blank or out of my mold. But I learned a few things last night while I was pulling this one out. But we'll figure it out.
Well, you have to share that when you get closer, and definitely maybe we'll have you back on the live when you get the pay lake fish done and the mount and all that stuff. And
yeah,
if you're looking for sponsors, let us know. We'll help spread the word and definitely get that out there. We're glad to be a part of it.
Sounds good.
And thanks again, man, for jumping on tonight.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right, well, everybody, thanks for watching tonight's Monday Night Live podcast with special guest Josh Roth with River's Edge Reproductions. And look for this weekend, Joe Crawford, Joe Ludke, 1v1, the third one so far in the bracket. We got a lot more coming. Have a great week, and we'll see you at our next event. Well, actually, Cornfield Fishing, April 17th and 18th. The Sea Rock Owners Catfish, the 25th of April. And then Sunday, May 3rd, Fort Madison, Iowa, and Saturday, May 2nd, Mark Ford is going to have a benefit tournament out of Montrose in the same pool if you want to go have some fun. And then that Saturday night, we'll be at the Eagles in Fort Madison for our non-mandatory captains hangout, food, drinks, and fish stories. So everybody have a great night. We'll see you this weekend.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. We'll see you.
You guys, thanks for having me.